Gamey Daddy.
Hello everyone, this is Emmond with Gamey Daddy and I'm here with another video from Tom Clancy's The Division. Today I want to bring you my tutorial on how to beat Warrengate power plant on Legendary. Now I'm doing this video because I saw a comment of one of my other videos saying that in fact trying to get the exotics from Legendary was a waste of time since the Legendary missions are impossible. Now I can understand how many players feel about the new difficulty, and honestly a lot of seasoned division players have left and a lot of players that left are returning. Also, we have new players who are very new to the game, and so the knowledge of doing the legendary missions and how to beat them is very limited. Now nevertheless, that doesn't mean that it's impossible to do. There are about 8 paradigms within which I'm going to give you my tips for this video that's going to help you. Now if you watched my other video for Napalm Production site, I go into some more detail, and most of these concepts that I discussed over there can be applied to Warrengate as well. But you also have to consider that Warrengate is quite a different mission from the other legendary missions, and so our approach is going to be quite unique. Now personally, I've always hated Warrengate power plant since I started playing this game, and that's because the setting, the progression, and the mission structure has always posed some kind of challenge in one way or the other. But this is legendary mode and it's got that exotic cache attacked to it every week, so let's beat this thing. Now one thing to remember folks is that there are timestamps for each area. If you want to skip right to the timed assault strategy, you know, the one where you have to take down the NPCs in waves for 10 minutes, just go ahead and jump right there because I feel like that's where a lot of people's questions are and all that good stuff. Now before we start, I also invite you to hit that subscribe button if you found this video informative, and also leave a comment if you know any tips and tricks to make this mission smooth. Now here are the paradigms within which I'm going to be discussing the strategy. Number 1 is long range weapons such as your LMGs, assault rifles, and best of all your marksman rifles. There are areas where you're going to need maybe a combination of all of them. Some areas you're going to have to fight close combat, so using a marksman rifle may not necessarily be great, but if you can wing it, do it because it's going to give you the most damage. Now number 2 is your team is going to need to decide the pace of the mission. You can either play aggressively or you can play cautiously. Depending on the mission dynamics, depends on the spawns, the agents, or if your agents go down while you're playing on your team, that's going to change the pace of the mission, or the position and the number of grenadiers, and all these different factors all play a role in how you guys are going to play. Now these factors would affect the pacing of your team because this mission needs a lot of artillery, because the NPC density and the proximity is actually very different from the other missions. Now keep in mind that you'll be dealing with at least 10 to 40 NPCs in some cases, so you have to know what you're doing while playing this mission. Number 3, you have to be very aware of your environment. If a player goes down, start thinking of the safest and the best way to get them up, because your team is already at a disadvantage when one man is down. If you guys really know what you're doing, then you know you can throw a support station towards where they are. You can even use your revival link if you need to, because sometimes you can use your revival link and they're not even revived and the enemy hits them and knocks them down again. So you have to be smart and think about exactly how you want to revive them. Number 4, keep a safe distance. Even if you're playing the tank or the shield, you're already generating over 300% threat, so you don't need to necessarily go stand in the face of these NPCs. Now I'm not saying you shouldn't mount the front lines, just do it wisely. Your job is to take the attention out of your teammates while you're doing damage at the same time, and so this will help your teammates be able to burst down the NPCs, especially the shield guys. Some people are good at playing the shield. They stand right in the face of the NPCs, they taunt them, they trouble them, and so you can hit their backpacks and all that good stuff. If you're comfortable doing that, then by all means do it, but do it in a smart way. Number 5, remember to gear up for specific roles and make sure you run overpowered gear sets, guys. Anything you can lay your hands on that's going to give you the most damage, the most skill power, the most effectiveness while you're playing, don't hesitate to run that build. You don't have to min-max your gear, but if you're going to run any gear set, make it strong so your team can benefit from it. This mission needs you to have more burst damage than any other of the legendary missions in general. So if you're a healer, buff your healing skills and use the appropriate talents. If you're DPS, make sure that you're doing your job. Now personally, I like the historian as a weapon for healers. If you get a good one, it can be really fun to use. Now if you're running CC, make sure you're using it wisely. If you use a turret, make sure it's close to you and try not to drop it in front of these enemy first wave agents, because they're probably gonna hack it. Number 6, you have to learn the dynamics of the entire mission. What, when, and how the NPCs spawn are very very important. There are areas where even though you may be advancing into the mission and taking down everybody, the mission is just trying to draw you into a corner so that you can get flanked by gunners and rushers. So always be careful. Whenever the mission feels like it's kind of easy, it's probably because it's drawing you in there just for all of you to get wiped out. So make sure you're paying attention and knowing if the NPCs are about to spawn, like the shotgunners, you need distance so that you can start shooting at them and take them down before they get close. If they get within range, they can either body you or take you down. So make sure you're paying attention to that. And finally, number 7, listen to each other and be patient. The most frustrating thing so far is that many players don't listen. They run aggressively forward, they get focused on by the NPCs, and they end up putting the team at a disadvantage when they go down. Now, if you want to play like that, then by all means, solo the mission. There's no need for you to matchmake if you're not going to be a team player. And just because other teammates are hanging back and taking their time doesn't mean they aren't good players. It means they're just being wise. They're, like I always say, there is no incentive for completing the mission in 45 minutes, and there's no penalty in doing it in 2 hours. So take your time, make sure you don't have anything on your plate before you start one of these missions, and you're most likely going to be successful as you chip away. So that's it. Now, if that was enough info for you, then go and apply these concepts, and play the mission. But if you want more detail, then let's talk some more. Now, I'm going to divide this mission into 6 major areas, and this is going to give you an idea of what location I'm talking about. Mainly, the first 4 sections will require much of the playstyle that you use in just a regular Warrengate mission from patch 1.3. But if you're new or you drop the game in 1.3, don't worry, I'm going to try and explain as much as I can. In the first area, you're supposed to secure the area. Now, you want to take the high ground as quickly as possible. By now, there are snipers positioned on the top right corner, and there are annoying grenadiers that are going to keep spamming you guys. So take the runners that rush you, delete the snipers, yes, delete them, and work on the grenadiers. The quicker you can execute this, the more ground you can cover. This will keep the NPCs backed into the area so you can start picking them off one by one. Now, watch for NPCs that are trying to flank your team. If they advance on the right side, step back a little. Don't give them the opportunity to flank or surround you. Now, 2 people can go on the top of the scaffolding on the top right, but you have to be careful. You have to space yourself out in case somebody gets sticky bombed and goes down. Then the other person can go revive them. Also, watch out for the healer. Destroy his support station. Apparently, in these legendary missions, the healers can only drop 1 support station, which is good because if they had to drop multiple support stations, it will be impossible. So it's not like Falcon Lost where 1 healer can drop as many support stations as they feel like. So once you down the support station, make sure you focus on him if you can. Now, another thing I can suggest is there's enough room for you guys to space out. So make sure you're spacing out very well and taking the attention from everybody. If you notice, the team I'm playing on did the same thing. Now, if you also cluster together and stay as a team, like, in one huddle, it's much more easier to just down you or even try to surround you guys. So play smart, keep your eyes open, look at what's going on, and take your time. There's no rush. Cover ground as fast as your team can do it. If your team doesn't have the fortitude to quickly take down NPCs, then do it at your own pace. But the goal is to try to push them all way back into the corner and just start picking them off one by one. The second area wants you to investigate the power plant. This area is pretty linear. You open the first security door, you lay down some CC, and you burst down the rushers. Now, this can be easy or it could be chaotic. Once you advance, you want to make sure that these rushers don't get the best of you. You go into the room, and the first thing I would suggest is you take the high ground. Climb the stairs. 2 people can start this out. And another thing I'll say is you want to have a shotgun, because I tried to go do it and I almost got, in fact, I went down. But I played with another guy who went up there with a shotgun and he chased all of them out of that spot. And so what you want to do is you want to take the high ground. Now, I played with guys where we stayed on the ground, and every time we did, we were just sitting ducks for those grenadiers and the snipers. Eventually, taking the high ground usually leads you more headshot possibilities, and it's hard for grenadiers to just shoot a grenade up there without you seeing them. Also, it's easier to take down the snipers, or if anyone is trying to hide, you know exactly where they are. Now, after this, there's another security door that you have to open, and once you open it, expect a few rushers. Now, you can use your CC, any kind of crowd control that you have. I prefer the flame turret. It keeps them standing in one place for at least 2 seconds so that I can burst them down. Now, they're very unpredictable, so make sure that you can take them down as fast as you can. Also, there are going to be 2 heavies. Make sure that you destroy them as well. They have the worst, the biggest damage when it comes to pistols in the world. I mean, one shot literally is a huge amount of damage on you, so make sure that you can take them down. As you advance forward past that door, They're going to be mechanics and artillery, so you want to make sure that they don't advance. If you can quickly take the ground and, you know, rush forward and take some of them down and, like, you know, place cover and keep them closer to the door that they're coming out from, that is the best way to go. You will need to use a lot of flame turrets so they don't try to run around you or get past that place. Now, if you notice so far, the theme has been aggressive all this while. Now, this is just one style. If you want to take your time and chip away, there's nothing wrong with that, but also always make sure that you do one thing. Make sure that they never advance on you. If you have some kind of crowd control that chases them or sends them back, use it. That's one way to keep them at bay, and then you can pick them off from distance. The third area is for you to secure the area, and this requires you to make some of the worst cover placement decisions, only second to the underground mode. If the rushers come, you know, you're exposed to them, and the snipers can always pick you off when you're out of cover. So my first priority is to work on the snipers. The medic is usually aggressive, so you can also get him down as well. Now, this area is going to grant you multiple doses of rushers, so make sure that you have some serious CC, because without that, you're close if they get, you know, you're toast if they get close. Now, I've confirmed, and it's been said, that all LMB shotgunners know how to dance the samba. I mean, they take the classes and they know how to step right and left and front and back and conveniently keep you from missing all your shots. Burst these fools down once they start coming. Keep the turret close to where you're in cover, or else they're just gonna samba past it, and then guess what? You're standing in front of a shotgun's barrel, so you don't want that to happen to you. The fourth area presents you with a weird kind of challenge. It's nothing unseen, but make sure you learn how the enemies spawn, and make sure you learn exactly where you want to place yourself once you go into that room. Watch out for the snipers, watch out for the grenadiers. The entryway is more like a funnel for those snipers just to pick you off as you're coming into the room, so don't waste any time there. We played aggressive. We got in there, we took the fight to them and tried to get the high ground as quickly as possible and chase them away from there, because the other spawns are going to try to come upstairs, and so on their way upstairs you try to burst them down. Now, if you can't take the high ground, don't feel too much pressure. Just make sure you keep cover, you spread out, and the ones that are trying to maybe flank you guys, they're going to try to come up the stairs. They're always going to do it. Make sure you're watching out for them. Make sure you take them down. In fact, honestly, sometimes you may have to retreat all the way to the exit or the entrance where you came in from. Don't be afraid to do that. Once you exit there, lay down like a turret, keep them there, and as they're at the door is more like a funnel for them, and you could just burst them down one by one. Now, make sure you're watching out for them, because if they hit you, you're not going to stagger, man. You are going down. Now, you're going to get some rushers, you're going to get some, I think, 1 or 2 heavies as well, but if you keep the high ground, like I said, they're toast. Now, this is where I'm going to recommend that you pace your play style. You might have to be a little more aggressive than you have been, because the next area is going to need you to go full on aggressive. These NPCs still react to aggressive gameplay, even though they may be the strongest and, you know, the worst to deal with in the game. If you're smart and you're aggressive in your approach, sometimes they would respond if they know that they're going to go down. Now, watch out for players that may go down while you're actually executing this. Don't hoard your survival link or revival link. Use it. I know that useless immunity that was just added is absolutely unnecessary. Just saying. But it's what we're dealing with, and, you know, PvE players, we always adapt and we always, you know, kick butt. Number 5, the 5th area. You have to secure this area in 10 minutes. You have to just, you know, you have to release the pressure in 3 valves and then another valve, and also deal with at least 4 major spawns of NPCs, all in the space of less than 10 minutes actually, because the timer starts when you're in area 4. And oh, by the way, just make sure that you don't die while you're at it. Now, this is where all the safety measures that you put when you're playing this mission gets taken off. You need to go full on assault. Shoot everything you see, because this is the part that I feel like a lot of people find difficult to pass. Always make sure you watch your 6, watch your back every single time. There, you know, this area leaves you open to all kinds of flanking, and, you know, seasoned players, they're gonna eat this for breakfast. But if you're new, I suggest staying on the top, keeping 2 turrets blocking both entryways. After you take the snipers, you know, 1 person can be watching the entrance and the other 3 can shred the area that has the most amount of aggro. And if there's another NPC trying to sneak around, you can go there and you can chase them away, or you can take them down. Another thing you don't want to do is, you know, hold back on making smart decisions. use your survival link like I always said. This is a timed challenge, so throw everything you have into it. If you see an NPC with low health, everybody send a bullet or two his way. If you take a reserved approach, you're most likely going to run out of time, because these NPCs, they're just going to sit down and run out the timer. So this is a game of chess, and they want you to be aggressive at the same time. So critical thinking, making smart decisions, and playing as smart as possible also comes into play in this area. The sixth area is a control room. This is where the final boss spawns, but you're going to have to get past 3 groups of NPCs. After you take out the first group that's there are going to be 2 more spawns that come out from the right side of the door. Always watch out for flanking. This is the area where it's a huge area. There's a lot of cover, and they want to flank you. If you want to keep your aggressive play style, then keep it, but make sure your awareness is also heightened. But I would suggest that aggressiveness that you come from the 5th level to this level, you might want to take it down a notch a little bit. Always look at the radar. I always look at the radar. Whenever we're shooting on the right side, I'm looking at the radar, because on the left side, I bet you there's always one NPC trying to go there and surround you guys. And whenever there's an NPC trying to flank us, we will call it, we'll run back to the door, lay down a turret or something, and burst down anybody that walks out that door. Use that CC, take them down at the entrance. We call it the fatal funnel. When they're trying to come out, destroy them. Whatever you do, try not to let them out of the control room. Don't let them push you. Don't forget to use your support station as well while you're in the doorway, because they're going to be grenades, they're going to be sticky bombs. So if they approach, I always let them eat my turret and some bullets. Once the bosses spawn, take your time. Remember, you're supposed to work those healers, destroy them, destroy their support station, and start chipping away. What I've noticed is the healer and the shield guy are some of the most aggressive, so you might want to have a plan for using that doorway to your advantage. What I always do for this mission, I always run even if there's a second flame turret, I run mine anyways in case one is on cooldown, and we put it there by the door. You don't put it on the floor, because they're gonna kick, the heavy is just going to kick it. You put it on the top of the platform that's there by the entrance, and so it's just gonna start burning on them. Make sure that you watch out for the rogue agent, because he'll try to hack your turrets or your seekers, so be careful. And watch out for him. He's got a sticky bomb too that he can shoot by the stairways, and that can take everybody out. So anything that can wipe you out, you want to keep your eyes open for. Anyways, this is just one way in a plethora of possibilities that you can run this mission, but I'm sure that most are going to agree that, you know, sometimes this needs you to move as fast as possible and make decisions, especially that timed aspect. Now, if you guys know any other strategies or any builds or anything that you can do to make this mission better for other people, please leave them in the comments, because there are people trying to beat this mission, and, you know, some of us have beaten it multiple times, but it's not because we're better. We also learned. Everything I'm telling you, I learned by just matchmaking and seeing another team play very aggressively and successfully. Also, some of the things I learned, I matchmade with another team and we played reserved, and we also beat the mission. So it's about making smart decisions and all that good stuff. Also, I'm just gonna try and work out that stolen signal incursion. I need your ideas, guys, for how to beat it, because I've only done it on challenging just to kind of get familiar with it, and I hear that the heroic is just nuts. So please leave ideas for that as well, so we can try to beat it and try to share with the community how to beat it effectively. Anyways, that's my spew. Don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button if you want updates and strategies for Tom Clancy's The Division. Thanks once again for listening and watching. Peace.